Okay, here comes the video on Sunday, the 27th of August, 2023. Just gone 1:10 a.m. Chicago time. Do hope you are doing well. So it's the weekend and time for another weekend futures market recap, where I go through 15 of the largest futures markets and I show you what I'm seeing on my charts. That was quite a week, pretty bouncy. But I did say in last weekend's video to expect it to be pretty bouncy, because I thought the bottom was not in and any rallies that we had would be sold down in order to push and test into those lows. So we put in a week of that pushing and testing activity. Was that enough to put in a bottom? I don't know. I'm going to show you my charts and walk you through my thinking at the moment. So we're going to go through the E-mini charts first, daily all the way down to the 15-minute and the 13,500 tip bar charts, and then we'll look at the signals on the futures markets on the tip bar charts. So here we go. This is E-mini daily chart at es.d, so it's the day session only. Usual two panels, left and right, everything to do with volume on the left-hand side, everything to do with price on the right-hand side. When we've got confirmed signals in terms of volume and price, the background is printed either in red for an uptrend or grey for a downtrend. I've been saying for a long time now, we are in a confirmed uptrend. All we're doing is testing down, waiting for those professionals to come in at the lows, pick it up again and push us forward. So we had the Rambo patterns and the exhaustion pattern up here at the high. Interestingly, this has now turned into a bearish divergence signal. I think if you look back over the videos over the last couple of weeks, that signal up there is actually a double exhaustion pattern. But for whatever reason, the data has changed. We've got a refresh on the data, and that's actually coming as a bearish divergence pattern with white there at the highs. That's not blue anymore. It still holds. We had a very high reading. It was Rambo patterns, amateurs at those highs. We've sold off from there. And what I've been waiting for on the downside is for us to catch. So we overshoot a support on the lowest time frame and we get caught by support on the next highest time frame. And that is when these slightly thicker lines here on beta sine wave come together down at negative 100, cross, and we get a cyclical cross. So timing wise, it still looks like we're a ways away. But if the market is strong and we rally next week, that signal will just come in late. And so it might be 2 or 3 days after that confirmed low there that we get actually a cyclical print to come in. So going down the time frames, can we see other reasons why this actually might be a reason to catch? First of all, I'm going to also show you on the NASDAQ chart. And this is of interest because the NASDAQ tends to be a leader. On the NASDAQ daily chart here at NQ, so the futures market here, you can see that on Beta Pro-Am, we've had a blue professional bar come in with Friday's activity, and we've ratcheted up stair step here on Beta Pro-Am. So when professionals step in the market, we trail the stop behind the professionals because the professionals tend to leg in and leg out of positions, and that's why we trail the stop. So that's important because we haven't had one of those signals for what is that? 10 months, 9 months or so from back here, October, November time frame. So Friday's activity, super important on the NASDAQ. And of course, came in with some news out of Jackson Hole, whatever. We had a very volatile couple of days. We tested in to those lows. They pushed it down and the professionals seemingly stepped in at that point and caught that low. And we've got a stair step up. So that is a positive development. Means that that's the first place that we might expect the market to hold and start to rally from there. In terms of timing wise on the intermediate time frames, it looks like the E-mini chart was still a couple of days away from that cross kind of coming in. So do we have to wait, or was that enough on Friday? Going down to the 135-minute chart here, back to the E-mini, nothing in terms of volume patterns or professional activity or amateur activity down here at the lows. And on this chart, 135-minute chart, we put in a little pullback level. So does that mean that we need to test down to put in a little pullback to end of trend? And that does seem to be what we normally do. It's like get rid of all of that trendy activity on the way down. And this isn't enough for a bounce. So I think we're going to have another final push down until we get that cross. On the 135-minute chart here, that has signaled the pullback resistance level has signaled because we had that cross. And you can see those lines are heading down towards minus 100. When they cross on the downside, we'll get a confirmation that that end of trend is in down there. So I think that's probably what's more likely to happen. So we might have a little bit of strength for maybe a day or two, and then we'll push back down, or maybe not a day or two, because we don't have much space between that pullback level and the end of trend to go in. So I'm looking for one final dip down, I suppose, based on the 135-minute chart in order to put in that end of trend, and that was sync up nicely with support on the intermediate time frame. So that's the 135-minute chart. 45-minute chart here. Here on this chart, what we need to see is blue professional bars at the lows. We've got our exhaustion patterns. This is really nice. So here's an exhaustion pattern followed by a bullish divergence. And when I say when the bullish divergence is close to the zero line, look for a flush pattern. So this bullish divergence, very close to zero, we come back down, we put in a flush pattern. So that's a nice pattern there. Exhaustion cell, bullish divergence, flush, amateurs up here. We don't have blue professional bars at the lows. In fact, we've got blue professional bars coming in here on the retrace, and we've got this moving down. So this has got to play out, pullback to end of trend. We've had a nice little pullback to end of trend on the lowest time frame. We've got to put a pullback to end of trend on the intermediate time frame here to bottom that, and blue professional bars coming at the lows. So we're close to making that bottoming pattern here with all our exhaustion going on. Timing wise, all we're doing is just testing into those lows and waiting for that energy to be played out, that trending energy to play itself out, and for us to be able to say that's a good place for a low to be made and us to bounce from there. But on this time frame, we're in a confirmed downtrend. Background's in gray. We haven't broken through the trailing stop, so I'd suggest we've got to see some more professional activity testing into those lows, and that trailing stop will come back down. 15-minute chart here. This is the activity that we had when I talked about the volatility during the week. So 15-minute chart, we've added these solid vertical yellow lines for the beginning and the ends of the week. So last week I said on this chart we had exhaustion cell and bullish divergence, but the bullish divergence was right on the zero line. So need to wait for a flush pattern. And then the flush pattern comes in towards the end of the week, and in fact what we do is we put in another exhaustion pattern here. So that wasn't enough. It was a double bottom testing into that. But what's nice is Rambo patterns. The amateurs got wrong-footed here at these highs. They were thinking that the market has turned, we're going higher. No, they got wrong-footed. Professionals come in, sell it down, bang, bang, bang. Stair-step trade, professionals sell it down here, but this is more like it. 43.80, the professionals step in with an exhaustion pattern here, and we're coming down. And on this chart, we have made a lot of progress in terms of the end of trends rippling through the time frames. So here's a nice little one on the lowest time frame, pullback to end of trend. Then we get pullback to end of trend on the intermediate time frame, and we're putting in pullback to end of trend on the highest time frame. So this is looking more like it on the 15-minute chart here, that the bottom might be in with all those blue professional bars come in. I'd say let's wait and see. I think we've got another push down to come, but this is quite good for the time being, that we could have a little bit of strength based off that bottoming pattern there. And then finally the tip bar chart. Tip bar chart here, let me just go back to this one. Yeah, so it's still a confirmed downtrend at this point with grey background. It's not turned, and we just need to trip this thing into an uptrend above 27 3/4, and then we get a background printed in red showing confirmed uptrend. And then on the tip bar chart here, again the week's activity, vertical solid yellow line to vertical solid yellow line here, and here the poor old amateurs each time getting wrong-footed, getting excited at this point here, and we're pushing back down to the lows, excited here, getting wrong-footed again, and at those highs the blue professional bars step in, we crack the lows of that, bang, we're into a downtrend. Not a lot of blue professional bars compared to that pattern up here at the lows and at the lows here. We've got blue professional bars at the end of the week. So like I said, I still expect one more push down, but that could come after a little bit of strength first before finally coming down and testing into those lows. But on this chart, 13,500 tip bar chart, confirmed uptrend with the background in red. So we've got price and volume both showing that we're in an uptrend here. We've done quite a lot of damage on the downside. We've pushed and tested into those lows, and so we're going to have a little bit of a rally. But just if we have another pushback down, I wouldn't be surprised if that happens to really test into those lows and the blue professional bars come in for sure. But on the tip bar chart here, we're in a rally phase, so we need to play this out a little bit before having that push back down. So maybe we're going to rally from where we are to test up into that 44.80 level, and then finally come back down with another push down. But let's wait and see Sunday into Monday, see how this thing opens up for next week. And so there we go. That is the E-mini and what I'm seeing on my charts. Let's go through the tip bar charts and the triple signals with the Forex charts first. So starting with the Euro chart, again, no signals on the Euro. Euro's been pushing down and down, and I think it's been 4 or 5 weeks since we've had any triple signals. This time around, we've got anything. We've got the last signals that we had on better momentum were exhaustion buy and bearish divergence. So we're still pushing down because of that. and then the blue professional bars, the last ones that we had this week, were selling that move down with stair steps and then selling this one into that rally. Again, no blue professional bars at the low yet on the euro chart, so the euro is not done quite yet on the downside. British pound signals this week short, but that happened with an exhaustion by bearish divergence at that point here. It's not a classic, it's not nice. I would have liked to have seen this pattern happening here, exhaustion by bearish divergence moving us down. And each time we rally, I mean, we have blue professional bars catching us there, but selling the rally and then selling the rally here at this point, and we've got bearish divergence happening there. So British pound has not bottomed quite yet. Aussie dollar, a bit more constructive here. I think the problem I had with this last week was that we didn't have a lot of blue professional bars at those lows. It signaled early in the week based off that bottoming pattern. It's a triple exhaustion, sell, bullish divergence. We're oversold with the background in red, and we break above the better pro-am trailing stop. So that's why we generate a signal. But in terms of blue professional bars coming in, it's just the one or two down here on the previous week and nothing much coming in this week. So that's not good for a long signal yet on the Aussie. Japanese yen, we keep on pushing down. We're at 68.40 down here. Beginning of the week we had a short signal. Midweek we had this long signal, but that's based on bullish divergence here, which is supposed to marry up with the exhaustion pattern there, so it's in the wrong place. Not a whole bunch of blue professional bars coming in at the lows, more at the highs as we come down. Stair step blue professional bars pushing us down. So that's getting the move going. Exhaustion, sell. So we've still got to put some more distance down on Japanese yen, but at some point I will do the video on the higher time frame charts on the Japanese yen, because all of this testing back down at the lows is being done on low average trade size. We've got lots of Rambo patterns popping up on the higher time frame charts, and so we're pushing down and down, and this is all amateur activity pushing us, and that tends to be a little bit suspect. But as soon as that chart starts to signal on the higher time frames, I'll bring your attention to it, and we'll do a special video on the Japanese yen. So Emini on the 13,500 tip bar chart signaled this week, and I am actually long at the moment into the weekend on the Emini based on this chart and a couple of time frames down. So nice signals actually at the midweek, and beginning of the week we had a long signal here into this rally, although it wasn't based off a large number of blue professional bars at the lows here. It was more a cluster of blue professional bars happening at the end of last week and beginning of this week. So we rally, blue professional bars at the highs, signals short here, and into those lows, exhaustion, sell, bullish divergence, some blue professional bars at the lows. Not a heap, we have triggered long. So all three non-correlated indicators come together. Stair step at the moment, this level needs to hold. We need to get above 44.20 in a little bit for us to test and see how far this move goes into those highs at the moment. But that needs to hold. If we break those lows and go test into here, we're going to see more blue professional bars hopefully, but this level at this point needs to hold on the Emini for a confirmed stair step trade. So 10-year notes, nice signal this week with all of these triple signals going off here. That's more like it in terms of blue professional bars coming at the lows, and then there's a little stair step trade. Triggers down a little bit, but it's the first blue professional bar after we get a confirmed break, and that's a great little signal, sign of strength at that point here. We go for a nice rally in the 10-year notes. Blue professional bars take profit at those highs, and we're stair stepping down at the moment, so let's see where that goes on 10-year notes this week. And then precious metals, gold. We had that whole family of signals going on last week and the beginning of this week, and finally started to turn around for gold. And we're coming back up. Let's see if we get through 1950. Silver really raced away nicely. So the signal happened a week and a half ago, but all of those blue professional bars coming in at those lows at 22s. Blue professional bars holding, and then a cluster of signs of strength, and the market rallies really hard. And it's not over for silver because we've not taken profits with blue professional bars or exhaustion patterns. So that was good for a nice, probably the best trade of this week, the cleanest trade of this week with that break in silver. Bitcoin is trying to hold down here. We had this super hard sell-off, and then it's come in now with a test with blue professional bars down here at the lows and a stair-step trade here, and we're seemingly holding. So we need to get above this congestion area. properly above 26,000, and see if we can rally on Bitcoin this week. And then crude, I was very bullish on crude last week, and we did go for a little bit of a rally and along this weekend in crude based on these signals here. So exhaustion, sell, bullish divergence. This is really nice. Blue professional bars get the move going here. They jam it down into that region where the professionals picked it up, and we rally hard out of there. So we're coming back up to test that high there at 80.50. So let's see with crude if we keep on going this week. Natural gas, what are we doing? Natural gas 267 down here. Trying to catch. No blue professional bars at the lows, but they buy this breakout. Exhaustion buy, bearish divergence. I don't know. That's not a classic in terms of picking up the lows here after we have the breakout trade. So it's signaling strength at the moment on natural gas. So let's see where that goes. Copper. I was pretty keen on copper last week, and we had a signal, and it's continued to strengthen from there. Some blue professional bars taking profits, but no exhaustion buy pattern, although it's overboard. So it's not signaled short at that point, a little bit of weakness. So let's wait and see next blue professional bar to step in on copper and see where that takes us. And then the ags, corn. Corn's holding at the moment down here. Exhaustion sell, blue professional bars come in, stair-step trade. So that needs to hold at that point, and we need to rally above out of this congestion zone on corn. That's looking positive. Soybeans had a nice week here. I'm not sure when the last signal was, but on this little dip, all those blue professional bars come in at those lows, buy it, we race away, which is good on soybeans. And wheat. Wheat trying to hold. Exhaustion sell, blue professional bars come in, it's weakened from there. We need to get above that blue professional bar sequence there, and then break above this trailing stop for wheat to continue. We've got signals going on at the end of the week and midweek here, but it's not held yet. So there we go. Emini, I think, is looking strong for the time being, but wouldn't be surprised if we get a little bit of a test back down at some point there. Forex charts are not looking strong yet. We've not seen enough blue professional bars coming at those lows. Looking for crude to really get going above 80.50 this week, and that would be good. Yeah, let's see if gold catches up to silver, which had a good week last week. There we go. Hope your trading is going well, and looking forward to next week's trade.